Everybody is looking for adventure. Whether it's climbing the highest mountains, diving into the deepest seas, or exploring the vast unknown, the human spirit is always yearning for something more. Adventure is in our DNA, driving us to push boundaries and discover new horizons. It's this very spirit that has led to some of the most incredible journeys in history. And speaking of incredible journeys, there's one name that stands out among the rest. So, let's set sail with the legendary Christopher Columbus. Imagine the vast uncharted oceans, the endless horizon, and the promise of discovering lands unknown. Columbus's voyages were nothing short of epic, filled with danger, excitement, and the thrill of the unknown. His story is one of determination, ambition, and a relentless quest for discovery. Christopher Columbus, born in 1451 in Genoa, was absolutely bonkers about exploring. From a young age, he was fascinated by the sea and the mysteries it held. Growing up in a bustling port city, he was constantly surrounded by sailors' tales of distant lands and exotic treasures. This environment fueled his imagination and ignited a passion for exploration that would shape his entire life. This guy had a serious itch for adventure. He spent years studying maps, reading accounts of previous explorers, and dreaming of the day he would set sail on his own grand voyage. Columbus was convinced that there was a faster route to Asia by sailing west, a bold idea that many of his contemporaries dismissed as impossible. But Columbus was undeterred. He was determined to prove them wrong and make his mark on history. In 1492, he sweet-talked the Spanish monarchs into funding his wild idea to reach Asia by sailing west. After years of trying to secure funding from various European courts, Columbus finally found a receptive audience in King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. They were intrigued by his proposal and saw the potential for immense wealth and power if he succeeded. With their backing, Columbus was able to assemble a fleet of 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Spoiler alert, he didn't find Asia, but he did stumble upon a whole new world. On October 12, 1492, after weeks of treacherous sailing and dwindling supplies, Columbus and his crew finally sighted land. They had reached the islands of the Caribbean, a place unlike anything they had ever seen before. Columbus believed he had found a new route to Asia, but in reality he had discovered a completely new continent, one that would change the course of history forever. Columbus made 4 epic voyages across the Atlantic. Each journey was filled with its own set of challenges and discoveries. From navigating through uncharted waters to dealing with mutinous crews and hostile encounters with indigenous peoples, Columbus's voyages were a testament to his resilience and determination. He was driven by a relentless desire to explore and conquer new lands, no matter the cost. Each trip was more mind-blowing than the last. The second voyage saw Columbus returning with a much larger fleet and a mission to establish a permanent settlement in the New World. The third voyage took him further south, where he explored the coast of South America. And the fourth and final voyage was perhaps the most challenging of all, as Columbus faced numerous hardships, including shipwrecks and hostile encounters. But he never gave up on his quest for discovery. But his interactions with Native Americans were, well, pretty dodgy. Columbus's arrival in the New World marked the beginning of a complex and often tragic relationship between European explorers and the indigenous peoples they encountered. While Columbus initially sought to establish friendly relations, his actions often led to conflict and exploitation. The impact of his voyages on the native populations was profound and far-reaching, leading to significant cultural and demographic changes. He was a bit heavy-handed in his attempts to conquer and colonize. Columbus's expeditions were marked by a desire to claim new territories for Spain and to extract wealth from the lands he discovered. This often led to violent confrontations with the native peoples, as well as the establishment of harsh colonial policies. Columbus's legacy is a complex one, as his actions had both positive and negative consequences for the regions he explored. Back in Europe, Columbus was the toast of the town. Upon his return from his first voyage, Columbus was celebrated as a hero. He was hailed as a great explorer and was showered with honors and rewards. His discoveries sparked a wave of excitement and curiosity across Europe, leading to a new era of exploration and colonization. Columbus's name became synonymous with adventure and discovery, and he was immortalized in countless works of art and literature. He brought back riches, exotic spices, and tales of new lands. Columbus's voyages opened up new trade routes and introduced Europe to a wealth of new resources. From gold and silver to exotic spices and plants, the New World offered a treasure trove of riches that would fuel European economies for centuries to come. Columbus's discoveries also paved the way for future explorers, who would continue to expand the boundaries of the known world. He even became the governor of the new Spanish colonies. As a reward for his achievements, Columbus was appointed governor of the territories he had discovered. This position gave him significant power and influence, but it also came with its own set of challenges. Columbus struggled to maintain order and control in the new colonies, facing resistance from both the native populations and his own men. His tenure as governor was marked by controversy and conflict, ultimately leading to his downfall. But life wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Despite his initial successes, Columbus's later years were filled with difficulties. He faced numerous political and financial challenges, as well as personal hardships. His reputation suffered as reports of his harsh treatment of the native peoples and mismanagement of the colonies reached the Spanish court. Columbus found himself increasingly isolated and out of favor, struggling to defend his legacy and secure his place in history. Columbus faced political and financial storms, and by the end, he fell out of favor. The once celebrated explorer found himself embroiled in legal battles and financial disputes. His ambitious plans for further exploration were thwarted, and he was stripped of his titles and privileges. Columbus spent his final years trying to restore his reputation and secure the rewards he believed he was owed, but his efforts were largely in vain. He died in 1506, a bit of a tragic figure. Columbus passed away in relative obscurity, his dreams of further exploration unfulfilled. He was buried in Valladolid, Spain, but his remains were later moved several times, reflecting the ongoing debate over his legacy. Despite the controversies surrounding his life and actions, Columbus's impact on history is undeniable. His voyages opened up new worlds and changed the course of human history, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to be felt to this day. Yet, despite the controversies, Columbus changed the course of history forever. His voyages marked the beginning of a new era of exploration and colonization, leading to the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures between the old and new worlds. Columbus's discoveries had far-reaching consequences, shaping the development of the modern world and influencing the course of history in ways that are still being felt today. A true pioneer and daring adventurer, Columbus remains one of the most famous explorers ever. What a legend, eh? His story is a testament to the power of human curiosity and the drive to explore the unknown. Columbus's legacy is a complex and multifaceted one, but his contributions to the history of exploration are undeniable. He remains a symbol of the adventurous spirit that continues to inspire explorers and adventurers to this day. So here's to Christopher Columbus, a true legend of the high seas.